So you can do,
Go ahead.
so you can do, say if you're out camping and stuff like that, you can use one of those portable ones, and in your house you can have a more stationary mat.
Absolutely.
So it can be
Yep.
different mats.
Yeah, you can teach once you teach the stationing behavior, you can transfer that to a lot of different surfaces. And like I said, you can have different cues for different mats if you want them to have different purposes. So if you want it to be an active ready mat, it's one cue. If you want it to be a go settle, lay down and take a nap, then it's a different cue. Another question?
I use the same verbal cue for multiple different kinds of mats. Should I be focusing and switching and using different? Like it's for my Cato board for working,
Mm-hmm.
and it's for go lay down and chill, but I'm not pointing to the Cato board for that, I'm pointing to their dog bed for that.
So in that
And
case,
go
your
to
mat,
the rug because I need you to hold on because I'm working with your sister, and you're, but I'm saying station every time. But I am putting different items.
if you're consistent with the mat that you're using, the mat itself becomes the different cue. So in that case, you don't have to change it. But if you were inconsistent, and sometimes the Cato board, for example, meant lay down and chill, and sometimes it meant be active ready, that would be an issue. But if as long as there's a consistent difference, then you should be okay. Okay, yeah.
Dog number 5. Everybody else got placed really good. She says, okay, go to place means go there. I touched it, now I get to do what I want. Is it okay to add a weight in there right now while we're learning it to just kind of get her to pause?
The way that I teach it will help with that.
Okay.
Because it looks like you're probably doing the distance before you're getting duration. So you want to get,
It's like from here to the chair.
yeah, but you want to get the duration before you get any distance at all.
Yeah, because we use the go to crates like for, they know that they have to go to their crates for dinner.
Mhm.
So she'll go in and like she'll purposely step out.
Yeah,
She's
testing the boundaries.
catalog.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All right. So, a couple things about the video. It's 15 years old. My training methods have changed just a little bit. I would no longer pull the mat out from under the dog. I would toss a cookie to get the dog to move off of the mat and then reset the mat. Also, in a couple of times, my clicks are off because I'm trying to talk and train at the same time, and that's hard. So that's just a few things about this particular video. Come on, wake up. And I do have talking in this one, so hopefully you can hear me.
Okay, this next behavior is to teach your dog to go to the mat on cue and go to a certain place. And basically you're teaching them to target a specific location, which is the mat, with their whole body. So the first step is to put the mat on the floor, and with your positioning, the dog is likely to get on it if they like to stay in front of you. And you're going to pick the mat up, put it down, put a few treats on it to encourage behavior, click when their feet are on it, and then pick up the mat.
And I would always put
Because
the
you want
food on
behavior to be go
the
to
mat to be
So you
have
need
the
to
focus
move
on the mat.
each time to be able to set up for the next behavior. So I'm going to hold him back just a little bit, put a few treats on it, and click when his feet get on the mat. Pick the mat up. When the dog is rushing over to the mat to get those treats that you've put on it, then you can move to the next step, which is put the mat down and then just wait for his feet to get on there and click and reward him while he's on the mat. And you're going to pick the mat up, put it back down, click when he gets all his feet on there, and reward when he's on the mat. Pick the mat up, you can just gently pull it out from under the dog, put it back down, click when he gets his feet on there. You're going to do this multiple times, even if he's getting it right, because again, you want to practice the correct behavior. And so instead of rushing ahead too fast where maybe he's guessed correctly a few times and doesn't truly understand what it is that you're looking for. So now you want the dog to, you're going to first click when he gets just a couple feet on the rug, but then you're going to start clicking when he gets all of his feet on the rug. Now obviously the bigger rug you use, the likelier that is, but even with a smaller rug and a big dog, you can still get all 4 feet on there by shaping, which is waiting for just a little bit longer of the dog to get their feet onto the rug. Your next step is going to be hold the click until the dog lays down. So you toss the rug on the floor, and then you're just going to wait until the dog lies down. Now, he knows this behavior, obviously. You can, if you need to, you can use a food lure to get the dog into a down the first couple times. So if, again here, so pull it out in between. So if he got on the rug and he was sitting and sitting and sitting and he's not getting it, then you can use the lure in your hand and just put the food down toward the mat and see if the dog will lay down. And you want to click as soon as those elbows hit the mat in order to get the down. Now don't use the food lure too many times in a row, because the dog will start waiting for that food lure. So you just want to do it a couple times and click the down, and then see if he'll do it without the lure. So you can try putting the mat down and just wait and see if he'll offer a down. If the dog knows the down cue, then you can cue the down as well. But again, just like with the lure, you want the mat to be the cue for the dog to get on there and lay down. You don't want to have to cue to go to the mat and the lay down. So drop the down cue as quickly as you can and see if the dog will offer that down on the mat on his own, so that you can click that. Once the dog is consistently offering that down on the mat, then you need to start working on getting longer and longer duration. So they need to stay in that position for several seconds before you click it. And you're just going to wait and then click for 1 second, and then 2 seconds, and then 3 seconds. And you can vary the amount of time that they have to lay down before you click, so it's not always getting longer and longer. You want to keep the dog guessing as to when that click might happen. And you have your choice. You can pick it up in between or not, if the dog is consistently staying on there. So if I pick this up, and you want to move the mat around. Obviously, I'm not able to do that too much here on camera because I'll be off camera. But you do want to move the mat around so that the dog isn't just finding that particular spot on the floor. They start learning that it's the mat itself that is causing you to click. So once you can predict the down on the mat without a cue down, then you can start adding the behavior for go to the mat, which is place. And you want to add the cue right before you offer the mat so that the cue predicts the behavior. He can start using the place cue to anticipate that he needs to go there and lie down. Place. So if I pick this up, I'm going to hold him for just a minute. And you can start doing this in order to get some motion in it. And you can start just moving yourself away from the mat when you throw it down away from you, or throw the mat a little bit further from you. And you can say place. So that the dog starts working at a distance from you. Because for some dogs that's very difficult. They don't want to move away from you to do the behavior. That is just so tail wagging. So again, I'm going to move away from the mat, and I can do this by simply offering the reward back here now instead of on the mat, or I can give him the cue on the mat and then the reward on the mat, and then call him back to me and reward both the go to the mat and a recall. Go place. that's that behavior.
Any questions on that one? I've done this with many, many dogs at camp, all different kinds of dogs, different sizes, different personalities, and this method seems to be the most effective at teaching the behavior to the widest range of dogs. So,
Except for pulling the mat out, right? You would.
Yeah, I
You would throw a treat now.
yeah, I wouldn't pull the mat out now.
Okay.
But when I was teaching multiple dogs at camp that were mainly pet dogs, they weren't well-trained dogs at all, but they were all getting it, and fairly quickly. So the last one that I have video of is door manners. And this is another self-control behavior that can be life-saving. If you've got a dog who likes to dash out the door, that is so dangerous. And so this one can actually protect the dog and you because they're not jerking you out the door when you open it. Excuse me. And I'm sure you've all seen the videos where, you know, the person goes to lock the door and all of a sudden they're no longer in the frame because the dog has jerked them off of the porch. You want to avoid that. And the goal that I have is the dog will sit, wait, and give me eye contact while I open the door. I can send the dog through on cue. They go through the door, they reorient to me and wait for me to come through the door. And then they will wait until we move off. So if I have to lock the door, they wait by my side until I'm ready to move away from the door.
So you let them out first?
I do let my dog through first because it gets them out of my way, and we're not both trying to crowd through the door together, and so
Okay.
I find that easier for me to send them through first, and then that way I also know that they're going to reorient to me because I'm still on the other side of the door.
Okay, that way you're not moving yourself.
Don't necessarily do it here though, because I did this just last Friday night. Sat her at the door, and I said, I'm afraid of her coming in eye contact with another dog.
Mhm.
I could not see the other person
Uh,
with their dog, and I let her go ahead of me, which
Yeah.
was a huge mistake. She was right in that huge dog's face before I knew it.
oh yeah.
And I'm apologizing to the owner. Now the owner saw it saw it coming and pulled her dog and got it under control.
Mm-hmm.
But I learned a valuable lesson: don't let mine go first.
Yeah, that's a
and,
good
and
point.
that means even coming into the building too.
Right.
So just keep
It
that
is a
in
place
mind.
if you know if there's going to be dogs.
Yeah, if you can see
Yeah.
if you can see through the door before you come in, that's a good
But
thing.
I mean,
But you can also-
you can't see.
Yeah, you can't necessarily. So,
see 'em, yeah.
it is also, you can also teach them to wait for you to go through the door
Right.
and then come
That's
through
what
after
that's
you.
that's
So,
the missing link. I've got to work
Yeah.
on that one now. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that's not how I typically teach it, but you can definitely modify what I'm showing here to have them wait for you to go
I'm
through
just telling
first.
it because
Yeah,
I don't want
absolutely.
anybody to have
It's a
bad
good-
experience like I
It's a
did
good
last
thing to
Friday
know.
night.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a good thing to know.
Yeah, we had
You
that
can
happen.
choose.
I came out of the door and looked over and there was a coyote standing on the
Oh my
table by
gosh.
the door.
Oh wow.
Eating the cat food.
Oh jeez. Yeah, that's kind of scary.
Yeah, so that cured me of that.
Yeah, that would do it quick. So you can have a cue for this behavior. You can teach the dog to the wait cue, or you can have doors be the cue. So it's up to you whether it be all doors have this behavior or whether you just cue the dog to wait. The trick to teaching this behavior to door dashers is to start with the most boring door in your house that you can find, even if that has to be a closet door. The dog has no reason to rush into the closet. And when you get to, you can work multiple interior doors of your house before you ever do an exterior door training with this. And when you start with the exterior door training, start by coming into the house after a walk versus going out the door for a walk. So going out the door for a walk is the hardest thing for the dog to do, so leave that for last. All right. So Voodoo knows this behavior, as you'll see.